So this is meant to clarify the difference between an isolation, an isolated lockout, and a lockout. So back in the old days, in the aughts, when we took moves like this and we stopped for a count in the middle with a circle, that was called a lockout. The circle part, specifically this, that is the lockout, where you come out of the move, lock it out for a beat, and then come back in. There's also things like the pinwheel lockout. You could do that in either direction. And so it was really just this idea of coming out for a beat. Now, at some point in the later part of the aughts, isolations became more common. So if a regular spin, static circle, whatever you call it, unit circle, static circle, circle at your side, circle in front of you, a regular circle is spun with a center of revolution happening where your fingertips are grabbing the poi. And isolation involves changing the position where the rotation is happening somewhere along the length of the tether beyond your finger. Now, typically, in my experience, people will call a center isolation an isolation, whereas the reality is isolation is a technique. It's not necessarily at the center. It could be at the quarter. It could be at the 3/4. It could be a point isolation. It could be any number of different ways that you isolate anywhere on the tether. When people started practicing isolations, this thing became common, which is my effort at and not good execution of a set of circles that are isolated at the side. But because people started calling these two circles, which are essentially two circles or a lockout, possibly a two-petal flower, depending on how you look at it, because people started calling that isolations, I think there's been some confusion lately, and people are now calling this, which is just a lockout, an isolation when they're not actually isolating in the middle, which could be done in the context of the whole movement, but isn't necessarily what they were doing.